My brother's wedding was everything he'd dreamed of. A luxury vineyard venue, 300 guests, and enough flowers to bankrupt a small business. I sat at table 12, sandwiched between distant cousins and an empty chair. From my vantage point, I could see the head table where Marcus sat with his new wife Claire, both glowing with champagne happiness. Their families mingled nearby, Claire's father a prominent attorney and her mother Patricia, who'd made it clear she came from old money. Marcus's boss, Richard Morrison, CEO of Morrison Strategic Group, sat at table 3 with company executives. I was sketching on my napkin when Patricia approached during cocktail hour. "You must be the sister," she said, her smile polite but distant. "What do you do, dear?" "I'm a graphic designer," I replied. "Oh, how lovely. Freelance work. Local businesses." "Something like that." Patricia's expression softened with pity. "Well, everyone has to start somewhere. I'm sure Marcus is happy to help with connections when you're ready for more stable work." Before I could respond, Marcus appeared with Claire. "Mom, this is Julia." "Julia, you remember Claire?" "Of course. Congratulations." Patricia continued. "I was just learning about Julia's design work. Marcus, didn't you mention she does those little drawings online?" Marcus's face flushed. "Mom, not now." "It's fine," Patricia interrupted. "We're family now. No judgment. Julia, dear, if you ever want career advice, I'm happy to connect you with people." I forced a smile. "That's kind of you." They drifted away. Marcus's voice carried from the head table as he chatted with Claire's relatives. "Julia? Oh, she's still figuring things out. Does graphic design stuff. Makes little drawings online. It's been years, but she seems happy with it." More murmurs of sympathy. Poor Marcus with a sister who won't grow up. I checked my phone. 3 new emails. Nike's marketing director confirming final payment for their global campaign redesign, $4.2 million. My agent about Apple's collaboration and my accountant about quarterly taxes on my $18 million annual income. I smiled and put my phone away. Dinner began with overpriced chicken and speeches that ran too long. Marcus's best man told college stories. Claire's maid of honor cried. Parents expressed pride. Then Richard Morrison stood, champagne glass in hand. "I'm Richard Morrison, CEO of Morrison Strategic Group, where Marcus works. I don't usually speak at employees' weddings, but Marcus is special. He's brilliant, dedicated, and has a bright future." Applause. Marcus beamed. "But tonight I want to talk about something else. About the campaign that saved our company." The room quieted. 18 months ago, Morrison Strategic Group was struggling. Lost 3 major clients, revenue down 40%, analysts predicting collapse. We needed a rebrand, something bold. Richard paused. "We hired the best brand strategist we could find. Someone whose work I'd admired for years. The designer behind Tesla's 2021 rebrand, Samsung's visual identity refresh. The genius who made Netflix's interface actually enjoyable." My stomach tightened. Her campaign for Morrison Strategic Group was brilliant. New logo, new visual language, new positioning. Within 6 months, we'd regained all lost clients and added 12 more. Revenue increased 340%. Industry publications called it the best corporate rebrand in a decade. Marcus smiled, probably assuming Richard was building to some point about success in marriage. "That campaign cost us $3.8 million. Worth every penny. And I'm standing here because the designer who saved my company, the artist who created that billion-dollar campaign, is sitting at table 12. All heads turned. "Julia Martinez, would you please stand?" The room went silent. I stood slowly. "Ladies and gentlemen," Richard raised his glass, "I give you Julia Martinez, the most sought-after brand strategist in the industry. Her client list reads like a Fortune 500 directory. Her work has redefined corporate visual identity. And her annual income makes my CEO's salary look like pocket change." Marcus had gone pale. Patricia's mouth hung open. "Julia, thank you for transforming Morrison Strategic Group. Your work didn't just save the company, it revolutionized us. You're a genius, and I'm honored to have your brother working for the company you helped build." He drank. The room remained frozen, then erupted in confused applause. I raised my glass toward Richard, then sat down. The speeches concluded. Dancing began. I remained at table 12, watching Marcus navigate the aftermath. Claire's family kept glancing at me, whispering. Patricia looked like she'd swallowed glass. Marcus finally approached with Claire. He looked stricken. Julia, I didn't know. About Morrison Strategic, did you really design their rebrand? Yes. For $3.8 million? That was the brand strategy package. Standard rate for corporate rebrand at that scale. Claire showed genuine curiosity. Marcus said you do graphic design. He never mentioned. He never asked, I interrupted gently. Every family dinner for 5 years I've mentioned my work. New clients, major projects. Marcus changed the subject or made jokes about little drawings. Eventually I stopped trying to explain. Marcus's face flushed. I thought you were doing logos for small businesses. Making a few $100s. Why would you think that? Because you never talked about the money. You never mentioned Nike or Tesla or, he gestured helplessly, billion-dollar campaigns. I mentioned the clients. Multiple times. You dismissed them as freelance stuff, and suggested I apply for graphic design positions at advertising firms. Entry-level positions, Marcus. You sent me job postings for $50,000 a year junior designer roles. Claire winced. Oh, Marcus. I was trying to help, he protested weakly. I make $18 million a year. I own a penthouse in Manhattan. I have a studio in Brooklyn with 12 staff. The little drawings you described to your in-laws have generated over $40 million in revenue for my clients. I'm not struggling, Marcus. I'm thriving. Patricia materialized beside us, her pity replaced by calculation. Julia, I apologize for earlier. I didn't realize you were so established. Marcus should have mentioned your success. Should he? You made assumptions based on graphic designer. You equated art with failure without asking. That's not Marcus's fault, that's yours. She flinched. I meant no offense. You offered to connect me with people who could help me find real work. You compared me to your niece who went through a phase. You pitted me for wasting time on childish pursuits. All of that was offensive. The only difference now is you know those pursuits are worth millions. Claire gently steered her mother away while Marcus remained. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For all of it. For not listening, for not asking, for telling everyone you waste time making little drawings. Yes, you did. What do I do now? Nothing. This isn't fixable with an apology at your wedding. You spent 5 years dismissing my career. Your boss had to publicly correct you before you realized I'm successful. That's not something you can undo. The reception continued, but the energy had shifted. Guests kept approaching me, Claire's relatives suddenly interested, Marcus's colleagues eager to discuss branding, random guests wanting business cards. I left early. On my way out, Richard caught me. Julia, I hope I didn't overstep. I didn't realize Marcus didn't know about your work. He knew I was a designer. He just never asked what that meant. His loss. Your campaign remains our best investment. If you want to discuss future collaborations, call me directly. I will. Thank you. The drive back to Manhattan gave me time to process. I thought about Marcus's face when Richard revealed the truth. About Patricia's condescending career advice. About 5 years of dismissed work. My phone buzzed. Marcus, can we talk? Please. Mom, why didn't you tell us you worked with Nike and Apple? I ignored them and called my agent. The Apple collaboration, are we confirmed? Signed this afternoon. $6.2 million for the product launch campaign. Perfect. I reached my building. The doorman greeted me by name. The elevator took me to my penthouse, 2,400 square feet overlooking Central Park, purchased with money from little drawings. I changed and settled on my couch with my tablet, pulling up preliminary sketches for Apple's campaign. This was what I did. Not waste time. Not figure things out. I created visual identities for the world's biggest brands. I shaped how billions of people interacted with products. I was one of the most respected brand strategists in the industry. Marcus didn't know because he never asked. Patricia pitted me because she made assumptions. Richard Morrison corrected that narrative in one speech. 3 weeks later, Marcus invited me to lunch. We met at a bistro near his office. I've been thinking about the wedding, he began. About everything I got wrong. Okay. I realized I've been doing it for years. Dismissing your work, offering advice, treating you like you needed guidance. And you are wildly more successful than I am. Yes. Why didn't you correct me? I tried, Marcus. Repeatedly. But every time I mentioned a major client, you changed the subject or minimized it. You didn't want to understand because you'd already decided what my career looked like. He was quiet. Claire's been really clear about how badly I messed up. Her mother hasn't stopped apologizing. And at work, everyone knows you designed the campaign that saved the company. It should be humbling. Can we fix this? Can I learn about what you actually do? I considered the question. Maybe. But it requires you actually listening. Actually asking questions. Actually respecting that I know what I'm doing. I can do that. We'll see. The relationship is rebuilding slowly. Marcus asks questions now. About clients, about design philosophy, about the business. He's learning. Claire messages occasionally, genuinely curious about the industry. I appreciate her interest more than Marcus's guilt-driven questions. Patricia sent a formal apology letter and hasn't spoken to me since. That's fine. The little drawings continue. Next month, Apple. The month after, a luxury automotive brand. By year's end, my income will cross $20 million. Marcus told his in-laws I waste time making pictures. His CEO told 300 wedding guests I'm a genius who transformed his company. One assessment was correct. The other required a champagne toast and public correction. The little drawings built an empire. Marcus just needed his boss to explain it.